Hi class, today we are going to be working out of book 3. This is lesson 101 for my students or those of you that have Saxon math at home. Today the title of our lesson is dividing two-digit numbers. So we have used manipulatives, we have practiced dividing many times in the past. Today we are going to learn how to do it with pencil and paper. So I want to draw your attention to the first example we have on the board here. Dan has 90 baseball cards. He wants to put them in an album. Each page can hold 6 cards. How many pages can he fill? Well, when in doubt, draw it out. So he is trying to put his baseball cards into a photo album. And the problem tells us that each page can hold 6 of his cards. So we're going to draw it just like this. 6 cards on one page, 6 cards on a second page. So far, I have 6 plus 6, 12 cards. Now, do I want to continue drawing photo album pages to get to 90 baseball cards? No, that's too much work. There's an easier way. So, today I'm going to show you that really what Dan is doing, he's taking his 90 baseball cards and dividing them into equal groups of 6. So we write that like this: 90 divided by 6. This is the beginning of long division, 3rd grade. Are you excited? So when we do this, we just take it a digit at a time. We ignore the 0 and we ask, how many times can 6 go into 9? Well, once again, if I have trouble with that, I can draw a picture. Let's say I have 9. Nine little squares here, and I see that I can make one group of 6. So I put a 1 right above the 9 because, like I said, we're ignoring the 0 for now and we're just looking at this 9 digit. Our next step is to say 1 times 6 equals, well, one group of 6 is 6. Our third step is to subtract. Again, ignoring the 0, 9 minus 6 is 3. Now that we're completely finished with my tens place here, now I'm going to take a look at that 0 and I'm going to drop it down here next to the 3. So my next step is basically to repeat the process. I divide, I say 6 goes into 30 how many times? Well, let's make some more groups of 6 over here. I have 6. Now I have 12. That's a second group of 6. Now I have 18, a third group of 6. "24, a fourth group of 6. And 30, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups of 6. So 6 goes into 30 5 times, and we put that digit above the 0. Now, do I have anything left over here? Is there any remainder? No. 5 times 6 is exactly 30. And I can finish this off by following the process of subtracting. I get nothing, I have no remainder, and I don't have any other digits here to drop. So the question asks, how many pages can he fill? He can fill 15 pages. That would be our answer. Okay, our next example is another word problem. I'm not going to write this problem out. but I will read it and we'll repeat the important information as we figure this out together. Okay, example number 2. Actually, this is example number 1 if you're following along in lesson 101. Maria is putting a collection of 48 postcards into a photo album. See a theme here, photo albums? Each page can hold 3 postcards. How many pages can she fill? I don't want to draw all those pages of postcards, so instead I'm going to use my new division trick that I've learned, and I know that she has a total of 48 postcards. I know that she wants to divide these postcards into groups of 3 because each page can hold 3 postcards. So over here I'm going to write our steps. Our first step is to divide. Our next step is to multiply. Our third step is to subtract. And our fourth step is to drop. After we get to step 4, we repeat and go through these steps for as long as we have digits in our dividend up here. Okay, so we're dividing 48 by 3. Once again, we just look at the tens place to start with. How many times does 3 go into 4? 1 time. Now we multiply. What we're multiplying here is the answer that we just got times the divisor. So 1 times 3 is 3. I've divided, I've multiplied, I'm on step 3, subtract. 4 minus 3 is 1. Now I'm on step 4, drop. I take the next digit over here and I drop it down next to my remainder of my subtraction problem. Now I've gone through all 4 steps. I'm going to start over with divide. How many times does 3 go into 18? I could draw the picture, but I could also count by 3s. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. 3 goes into 18 exactly 6 times. Multiply. 6 times 3 equals 18. Subtract. I get 0, and I have nothing left over here to drop. So I don't have any remainder. I will need, or Maria will need, exactly 16 pages to put her postcards in. Okay, moving on to example 2. We have Rob. Rob has a handful of nickels. Rob has 80 cents worth of nickels. How many nickels does Rob have? Well, in order to answer this question, you need to know how much money a nickel is worth. A nickel is 5 cents. So Rob has 80 cents, and to figure out how many nickels he has, we have to divide that into groups of 5 cents. So, once again, we look at the first digit only, the tens place in this case. 5 goes into 8 how many times? 1. 1 times 5 equals 5. Next step, subtract. 8 minus 5 equals 3. Next step, drop our 0 there. 5 goes into 30. We just did this in the last problem. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 6 times. 6 times 5 is 30. We subtract again, have 0 remainder, and we know that Rob has 16 nickels. Don't forget those labels, students. Okay, 16 nickels. All right, that is the end of this lesson. I do have the lesson practice problems that I'm going to hold up. I suggest at this point you would pause the video, work on the problems for yourself, and then unpause the video and we will go over the answers together. So here you go. Okay. And at this point, if you have unpaused the video, we're going to take a look at these 3 practice problems and go over the answers together. To display his rock collection, Juan glues 5 rocks onto each card. How many cards does he need for 75 rocks? Well, he has a total of 75 rocks. That number goes in the division house here. And he's able to put 5 rocks on each card. Once we complete our division problem, we'll be able to figure out how many cards he needs in order to glue all of his rocks on. So we look at the first digit. 5 goes into 7. How many times? Just once. 1 times 5 is 5. We subtract next. 7 minus 5 is 2. Final step, we drop our 5. This time we're dropping a 5, not a 0. Whatever this digit is, we drop it. Now we go back to the beginning, divide. 5 goes into 25. How many times? 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. Subtract, 0 remainder. Don't forget your label. He needs 15 cards. And there's our final answer. Okay, problem B. Shelley collected 54 shells that she will store in plastic bags. If she puts 3 shells in each bag, how many bags of shells will she have? Well, she has a total of 54 shells. She wants to put 3 shells in each bag. How many times does 3 go into 5? 1 time. 1 times 3 is 3. We subtract. 5 minus 3 is 2. We drop. Then we repeat. Divide again. 3 goes into 24. How many times? This is a tricky one. You might need to count by 3s. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. So 8 times. 8 times 3 is 24. And we get a remainder of 0. But it was a word problem, Mrs. Duarte. Don't forget your label. So Shelley is talking about bags. She will need 18 bags. And there's our answer. Final practice problem. If 76 horn players, they're talking about band members, might be trumpet, might be French horn. If 76 horn players line up in 4 rows, how many players will be in each row? We could draw a picture, but I don't really want to draw 76 horn players, so instead I'll say we have a total of 76 players. They are lining up in 4 rows. So my answer will tell me how many players will be in each row. How many times does 4 go into 76? Just once. 1 times 4 is 4. We subtract. 7 minus 4 is 3. We drop. How many times does 4 go into 36? Oh, that's another tough one, but I have a trick. I know that 4 times 10 is 40. And 36 is just 4 less than 10. So if 10 groups of 4 is 40, 9 groups of 4 is going to give me 36. So I'll try that, and maybe I want to try my finger trick where I say 9 times 4, 1, 2, 3, put down my 4th finger, and I have 10, 20, 30, and then 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. 9 times 4 is 36. 36 minus 36 gives me 0 remainders, and we're talking about horn players here. In each row, there will be 19 horn players. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a member of my class and you're following along for your math homework, at this point you are going to want to start the written practice to lesson 101, which begins on page 543. Thank you for joining me. I will see you in a couple of days.